last year. Indiana, however, won 3 of the 4 regular season meetings, but they haven't met since January 26. A lot has changed in Cleveland since then. Elsewhere in the East, the 76ers finished the year on a 16-game winning streak to move up to the 3 seed. They will host Dwayne Wade and the Heat in the first round of the playoffs. The team split the regular season meetings with all 4 games decided by single digits. A lot of people already counting out the Celtics due to Kyrie Irving's injury, but they're still the 2 seed in the East. Boston will open the playoffs against the 7 seed Bucks. Any of those 4 games, he'll be out there for Game 1. Now let's get back to First Take.
All right, here's the road to the finals in the East. The Sixers entering on a real hot streak, winning 16 straight. Their road will be the Heat, then the winner of Celtics-Bucks. The Raptors square off against the Wiz, then they'd have to get through the winner of Cavs-Pacers. Stephen A., who should be the favorites in the East?
Well, first, let me be very clear for the audience. I am not backtracking one bit, believing that LeBron James, you're going to have to prove to me that you can beat him a best 4 out of 7.
Okay.
So I am in no way saying that I'm deviating from that pick. No, I'm still going with LeBron. I'm still going. You heard that, Max? Because sometimes you're hard to hear it, okay? I said it.
I got you.
Picked LeBron before, and I'm picking him again. LeBron is coming out of the East.
Okay, we got it. LeBron, yep.
But who should be the favorites?
Yeah.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Hey!
My choice to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Last night's game meant absolutely nothing to me. Markelle Fultz can ball, by the way. Congratulations to him for the triple-double. Okay, we see what J.J. Redick's been doing. This kid, Justin Anderson, comes out of nowhere. He's dropping threes. Something to say about this series. We're going to find out what Hassan Whiteside is made of once Joel Embiid comes back at some point in this series, because I don't believe he's missing this whole first-round series against Miami, knowing that he gets to go against Hassan Whiteside. We're going to find out what Hassan Whiteside is. Crawford, congratulations to that brother in Minnesota. The Fed reminding you that they ain't the only ones that left the Clippers last season. I'm telling you right now, the way the Sixers are shooting the basketball, combined with Brett Brown, deserves a lot of credit, but with ends up getting knocked out like you said he's going to, Sixers going to the finals. LeBron James, the only thing standing in their way. If LeBron James isn't standing in the Philadelphia 76ers' way, I believe they're going to the finals. That's how
the Sixers are interesting. The Sixers are interesting because they have the most talent. State, the kind of generational talents they are, the age they are, learning together, the whole thing. It's amazing. An amazing
I've already
time to
done
be a
that.
Sixers fan right now.
Who's your pick?
So there's that.
What's your pick?
There's that, plus there's the win streak. But no, first I'm going to tear down your pick. The win streak actually has come mostly against dreadful teams. So people are getting caught up in how hot this team is, but they really haven't beaten very good competition. Not their fault. They got to play who's in front of them. But let me tell you a team that has beaten real competition all season, though they're stumbling a bit into the playoffs. And that's the Toronto Raptors. The reason they're the #1 seed, obviously, is they have beaten more teams during the regular season. They have beaten more good teams during the regular season. They have more quality wins than the Cavs or the Sixers during the regular season. They also are a top 5 team offensively and defensively throughout most of the season. That's the profile of a championship team. Certainly a conference finals team or a conference champion. That's the Toronto Raptors. Now, the reason people get hung up on the Raptors not being the favorites, I believe Cleveland is actually the odds-on, the betting favorites over the Raptors, then the Raptors, and then the Sixers at this moment. But the reason people are down on the Raptors is because the Cavs seem to have a psychological whammy on them. But if you really examine it, the NBA, it's not like the NFL, where it's one and done in the playoffs, or the NCAA tournament where it's one and done. I don't agree with that. I think they're experienced enough that in a 7-game series, even if they start shaky, they're going to right the ship. And in the end, the best team will win. And the best team in the East, essentially wire to wire, has been the Toronto Raptors. And I do not think that's going to change in the playoffs. The Raptors should be the favorite, not the second in the odds to the Cavs. But by the way, odds largely reflect what the public thinks. And the public is familiar with LeBron James getting to the finals every year. So they see LeBron James, they'll bet that he's going to get back to the finals. And I'm saying, not this year, the Toronto Raptors.
Well, first of all, you should listen to your brother from another mother because I'm here for you. Your success is my success, baby. I'm trying to help you out. That's why you should have picked your point first instead of tearing down my point first so somebody can remember your point. So let me remind the audience, it's the Toronto Raptors, according to Max Kellerman. Now let me tell you why. Now let me tell you why. Yeah, they ain't remember because you made about 5 different points. Here's the point that I'm trying to make to you. You are not wrong if you're talking about, okay, look at the season that they had. Look at how they've come up short in the past. Look at the great coach that Dwayne Casey is. I get your point. What I'm saying to you is I'm watching the way teams have played as the season has progressed. There are points and times when you ignore that, and there are other signs that you take into consideration. What I don't like, and I've religiously told you, I do not like about the Raptors, I don't consider them reliable perimeter shooters. They can make perimeter shots. They have made perimeter shots, but they're not reliable perimeter shooters. Their bread and butter is getting to the basket, with the exception of a Kyle Lowry, even though he's strong, little pit bull, can get to the basket. We all know come playoff time that miniature size is going to work against him. He has to hit from the perimeter, and that series against Washington is going to be interesting to see, which is something else we're going to touch on because that's about John Wall, and I'll explain later. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. I look at the Sixers, and I look at their ability to shoot perimeter shots. And I look at the fact that come playoff time, when the game slows down, and we're talking about half-court, and you don't get to push the ball up so easily anymore, most of your shots are going to be contested. And can Toronto make those shots? They haven't shown me that I should believe they could in those pressurized situations.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And that's my issue.
I'm glad you brought that up because too often we make these kind of conversations, I mean the sports media and fans for sure, make these kind of conversations about like if some player on a team can advance, it's something wrong with them internally, their heart or their courage or their confidence or something. When in fact, part of Toronto's problem and DeMar DeRozan's problem is the same as Russell Westbrook's problem. You know, like why I'm talking about Westbrook, he pulls too hard in the moment of truth and all that, but maybe it's just that he's not a great perimeter shooter, Westbrook. He'll take the shot, just not very good at hitting the three-point shot. He's not a pure shooter. Same thing with DeRozan. You know, if they don't win, it's going to be because of that, because their best players are not dead-eye shooters. That is true. But when Toronto is functioning at its peak efficiency, it's not about iso ball and can DeRozan hit from the outside. It's about DeRozan being willing to take that outside shot enough that it changes the way defenses have to play the Raptors, and that allows other perimeter shooters, they move the ball, and other guys to hit shots. That, plus the bench, which is the best in the league, I mean, that bench runs teams, second units out of the building. Now, playoff rotations get shorter, I understand, but still, Toronto has an enormous advantage there. If they lose, You are right. It will be because of the absence of great shooting from their two best players. But who says it's going to come down to that? Because oftentimes this year, Toronto's so good it doesn't come down to the last couple of shots.
But that's the whole point. You believe it won't. I believe it will. I believe it will come down to that. And I believe that ultimately it's going to be about perimeter shooting, which is why I'm not sold on Toronto. I'm sold on Dwayne Casey. I'm not sold on Toronto, meaning DeRozan and Lowry against the bigger guards. I'm not sold on them.
Well, if I get what you mean. If what you're saying is Stephen A. Smith is saying the Cavs should be favored. Max Kellerman saying the Raptors should be favored. But we're both kind of saying Sixers might beat everybody. Yeah, I understand.
Way to wrap up that segment nicely for us, Max.
I don't know about that, but I'll let that go. I'm better at speaking for me than you are, but let's leave it at that.
All right, guys, the Knicks have made a major
Monge intercepted right